All right, everybody. Stocks by the numbers. Welcome back. Another quick update here on DraftKings Incorporated, ticker symbol DKNG, listed here on the Nasdaq. Stock right now 41.72, up almost 3 points on the day, 7.25%, still holding. Was up to 42.16 here at the high of the day, and we can see that again back here. Oh, back here. The stock was 40, yeah, about 40.80 a couple of weeks ago. That news came out that Illinois supposedly beefing up that sports betting gambling tax or whatever. Stock took a chunk down, drops all the way down to 35. They beat it up all the way down here to about 34.40. And then just over the last 2 weeks, the stock has been on an absolute tear, actually getting, oh, that's my keyboard, actually getting back up above where it was before the news hit. Because again, everyone was probably seeing what I was seeing. And again, if we back it up, we can see again that the stock, this is what I mentioned last time, the stock was kind of seesawing from the low 40s up to the high 40s and just kind of going up and down. And it was a play that I mentioned in the Discord. I tweeted it out on X as well. So shout out to everyone in the Discord who caught that trade. I was mentioning it almost every day that the stock was down, and even while it was climbing up, I kept saying, in my opinion, DraftKings calls, buy the dip. It's going back to 40, DraftKings calls. And of course, we know anything can happen, but we saw the close on Friday above this resistance level that I mentioned right there. And I said that, in my opinion, you're probably going to see 40 on Monday. And boom, we actually saw 42. So now we're back up above where we were. And that's why I'm saying, in my opinion, probably back to this trend line, potentially about 43.5. And, it's business as usual. It is business as usual. And I appreciate the fact that, it may be a decent market for them, in Illinois, specifically Chicago, of course, right? That's the big city. But at the end of the day, we know that sports betting is, a multi-billion-dollar industry, and DraftKings has recently seen some big jumps up in its revenue. Market cap right now 20 billion, and we can see we had 2 EPS misses recently. Before that, we were doing well, but the growth of the company cannot be denied here just over the last couple of years. And what did I mention also? Right? I mentioned in previous videos, I said that in my opinion, during quote unquote, a recession. A lot of people say we're in a recession, a depression, but also at the end of the day, during rough economic times, I mentioned that in my opinion, you want defensive stocks. And defensive stocks in this type of environment are companies like PM, right? Tobacco companies. Companies like STZ, Constellation Brands, right? Alcohol companies. And we also mentioned DraftKings, gambling, betting companies. This is where it seems the money is flowing. Because unfortunately, that's what happens when times get rough. But as we see here, we went from 600 million, doubled up to 1.3, almost doubled up again, really, to 2.2. And then now to close out 2023, 3.67 billion now the company is up to in annual revenue. And we can see that in the last couple of quarters as well, they have chunked up and jumped above that billion plus mark. I know they made some acquisitions along the way, but long story short, again, if we see growing fundamentals, then in my opinion, if news comes out and you see a stock taking a hit like that, in my opinion, it really wasn't going to affect the overall business too much, which is why I kept saying every day that I was very adamant, I was very confident to step in and buy this dip down at 34, 35, 36, and now again, we can see the stock up to 42. So just wanted to do a quick update, and of course, again, give a shout out to everyone in the Discord who followed the trade, made themselves a decent return just in the last couple of weeks. Again, Discord link in the description of every video. At the moment, free for you guys to join. I'm not really sure if I'm going to want to change that up, but maybe for trades like this, maybe could start charging a couple of bucks a month. I don't know. I really didn't want to do it, which is why I keep trying to consistently make these YouTube videos, right? So if you guys just do me a favor, I know everyone says it on YouTube, but if you guys can just do me a favor, view these videos, like these videos, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, all of that really goes a long way for me, because I really didn't want to start charging you guys, because I know everyone out there charges you for something. A course, a tip, advice, whatever it is, everyone's charging every month for everything. So again, I'm trying to do right by you guys, so I'm just asking that you reciprocate. But overall, DraftKings, that in my opinion, that was some of the easiest money that we could have made. And I spoke about it previously just now in the ASTS update, but I mentioned again, some people, have that moral compass. I spoke to one individual who told me, listen, it's a sports betting company. I don't really see eye to eye with that. Even if you're right, I can't buy it. And, at the end of the day, I respect that. But also, we are talking about making money here. And we do try to find trades and investments where we have high confidence, right? Where we have high conviction. So I appreciate the fact if you may not like the sports betting industry and you maybe can't support a company like DraftKings, understandable, but also at the end of the day, we're not talking about you opening an account and starting to bet on, NBA or MLB games or something like that. We're just talking about you buying a company that dipped down and just riding the rebound to make yourself probably a couple of 100% return here that you could have seen just in the last 2 weeks, right? And that's why I spoke about stocks like Shopify and Spotify about this time last year. And I said, in my opinion, I don't see the hype. I think some of these stocks might be overvalued. But at the end of the day, if they're going up, whether you agree with it or not, sometimes you just have to ride the wave. You have to make yourself the quick trade, secure some profits, and then if you want, you can move on to something else. So again, whether I agree with, the market rallies or not, I mean, if I had money today to jump in index calls and the market kept pumping and I made money, again, at the end of the day, how we personally feel, unfortunately, has to be put to the side. We have to put our pride in our back pocket, sometimes our moral compass in our back pocket. And we just have to take what the market gives us and take these high conviction trades. But we can see the RSI was beaten up as well. That's why I mentioned DraftKings as well. And we're looking here on the daily, and we can see RSI now, it climbed up, but it's only here at about 59, which is why I'm saying we could potentially see that 43.5 trend line mark, maybe even meet up with this top Bollinger Band right here of about 44. The 50-day moving average on the daily, 41.37. Technically, the stock is above that level right now and still holding. So technically, it would be viewed as bullish, which is why we may see another update tomorrow with the RSI not overextended. The MACD recently crossed to the upside. That helped out the bounce. The stock got beaten up, and then you can see it immediately climbed up to reclaim that 200-day moving average. Look at how well it's been climbing. And the 50-day as well, just steadily going up again because the stock jumped up from the 30s into the 40s and then was holding that level for a while. So all the moving averages have slowly come up with the stock. And now we can see about 37.5 is our 200-day moving average. Our mid-Bollinger Band here, 38.59, and we can see that we just had, a little bit of trouble getting to and holding that level, and then boom, we had the big pop here. So this is why, in my opinion, I do think it keeps going, but overall, again, if this is a stock now at sub 42, if they pull it back to like 38.50, let's say, hypothetically, in my opinion, it would be a buy on that dip. And that's the point I try to drive home a lot of times with you guys, which is why I like looking at the fundamentals. And again, to bring up something like Hims and Hers Health, right? HIMS, Hims, consistently been climbing. I know they came out with some recent news. I know, a new drug coming out or whatever. But even before that, this was a company that we saw had decent fundamentals. They were growing nicely quarter over quarter, year over year. And that's why I say that, in my opinion, the best way to do this, if you're able to, buy some time with your options or even potentially buy shares themselves, if you're in that position, then what you should really be doing is developing a list of companies like this, like Hims, like DraftKings. Wait for them to get smacked up, let them chunk down. Once they hit a discounted price or even a quote-unquote fair value price, that's when, in my opinion, you step in, you buy shares, you buy calls with some time, and you ride the wave back up. And as you see, it really could work wonders for your account, especially if you remain patient and if you remain disciplined. But we can see here on the weekly, the stock almost dropped down to the 200-day, but that might have been an overreaction at 33.79. Stock stopped at about 34.30, broke the 50-day moving average here, 36.58. And then immediately got back above it the following week and has been on the up and up now, back to the mid-Bollinger Band here almost on the weekly, 42.34. Stock hit 42.15. So this is why, again, we may pause for a day or two, but chances are we're probably going to chunk back up to the 43s, 44s, and, get back to where the stock was. Again, it was healthily bouncing off of this 200-day moving average basically since the ball dropped, and was staying up and holding the top Bollinger Band and staying in that 40s range for several months, which again is why I was pretty confident in it. The MACD, again, was pulling back here on the sell-off. Now we can see the bottoming and the curling taking place. So obviously over the next week or two, if we climb up and then potentially cross, we may see even the next leg higher, and you may see even new highs here, $50+ potentially. That would be a new high, right? 49.57. So yeah, it'd be close, but maybe it could retest those highs, over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure you appreciate what I'm saying. But RSI here on the weekly, 53 1/3. So we're still kind of middle of the road, and we do still have some more room to grow in my eyes. Let's check the pivot points real quick. I'll let you go. And we can see 46.07 is the next resistance level, so that might take a little while to get up to 46, but we can also see here on the daily, next resistance level 42.81. And if we look here again, we're looking for about 43.5 potentially back to this trend line. So 42.80. Yeah, so that would be almost right there before it chunked out. Now that's 70. But yeah, it would be about there. Let's just back this up 1 second, bear with me. Yeah, so you can see it about 42.80 and change. It's hard to see, but you can see it. The stock stopped and paused right there around that level for a little bit. And we can see we had a pop and a drop back below that level. And you can see we kind of topped out at around that 42.80 level. So that does seem very feasible in my opinion. But yeah, overall, I mean, I still like DraftKings. And again, we may not agree with it. We may not fully understand it. But at the end of the day, like I say, sometimes we just have to take what the market gives us. And in my eyes, the market gave us a stock that was hanging out at, $41, $42, $44. And it gave it to us for 34 and change. And that's why I jumped on it. And I thought I'd make a video a week or two ago, and I've been mentioning it in the Discord. Again, Discord link in the description of every video, free for you guys to join for the time being. But I'll end it there. That's pretty much it. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Thumbs up algorithm, right? Helps me get more eyes on the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But of course, more importantly, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky, they're volatile, they're very uncertain. So I want to wish all of you success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thanks for your time. Have a good day.